The Pineapple I Wear is a deeply emotional story about love, betrayal, and the hidden wounds of silence. It follows a husband who learns that the child his wife is carrying is not biologically his, a truth rooted in his own secret battle with infertility. As he wrestles with pain, pride, and the mask he must wear before the world, the story peels back layers of vulnerability, exploring what it means to love, to lose, and to carry a burden no one else can see. Ready to hear his confession? Let's go.
I wasn't looking for proof. Not that night. I only picked up my wife's phone to check the time. That's what I told myself. That's what I wanted to believe. But then I saw it, just a name. A first name. Innocent. Familiar. But something about how it sat at the top of her chat list pulled at me. Not loud, just enough to make my stomach twist. I opened the message. I wish I hadn't. There were words. Too many smiles. Too many hearts. Too much warmth for someone who wasn't me. I didn't say a word. I put the phone down. Slowly. Quietly. I forced a yawn. My teeth clenched behind it. I told her I was tired and went to bed. That night, I cried into my pillow, silently. Like a ghost. No sound. No trace. Days passed. Then weeks. I told myself I was fine. I smiled when I had to. I laughed when people looked. But inside, I was drifting. Something had shifted in me the night I saw that message. And I knew I would never see her the same way again. I stopped holding her too long. Stopped looking in her eyes for too long. Because every time I did, I remembered. She still touched me gently. Still cooked my favorite meals. Still told me she loved me. But every sweet word felt like a stone tied to my chest. And I kept pretending. Pretending nothing happened. Pretending I didn't know. But I knew. And I couldn't unknow it. So I cried at night. Soft, cold tears that only the pillow knew. There's something I've never told her. Something I've never told anyone. When I was a boy, I had an accident. I fell from a tree. Hard. I ended up in the hospital. They said I was lucky to be alive. But then came the quiet part. The part whispered between doctors and my parents. He may never be able to father a child. They thought I didn't understand. But I did. I carried that with me into adulthood. A quiet shame. A silent fear. When I met my wife, I told myself I'd say it eventually. That she deserved to know. But I never found the right time. Never found the courage. And then suddenly, she was pregnant. She told me with happy tears in her eyes. She hugged me. She said, "We're going to be parents." And I stood there, frozen. Smiling. Dying inside. Because I knew something she didn't. I can't make a baby. Her pregnancy glow was real. She laughed more. She sang to her belly. She placed my hand on her stomach and said, "Feel that?" I nodded. I smiled. But I felt nothing. Not from her belly. Not from inside me. People celebrated with us. My mother cried. Her friends threw a baby shower. They said, "He'll be a great dad." And I wanted to scream, "I can't be a dad. Not to this child." But I didn't. Because how could I? If I told the truth, I'd have to tell my whole story. And then maybe, she'd tell hers. So I stayed silent. I helped paint the nursery. I folded baby clothes I never asked for. Every baby kick felt like a punch to my gut. I wasn't part of the joy. I was pretending. And it was exhausting. He came into the world crying. Red and small and perfect. My wife looked at him like he was the sun. And she looked at me like I was her moon. "Look what we made," she whispered. But we didn't make him. Not together. I held him. I said all the right things. But in my heart, I whispered, "You're not mine." Everyone who came said, "He looks like you." I smiled and said thank you. Then I walked out to breathe. Out in the hallway, I felt nothing. Just numb. No joy. Just a quiet emptiness. And then, her phone buzzed one evening. She was sleeping. The baby was in her arms. I picked it up, planning to silence it. But the message on the screen stopped me cold. "Congratulations on a safe delivery. He's perfect." From him. The same man whose name I saw that night. I stared at the message for a long time. My fingers started to shake. My heart didn't race, it just stopped. I put the phone back. Slowly. I sat down next to her. I looked at the baby. "He's perfect," the man said. "Not our baby. His." And still, I said nothing. Because now, the truth wasn't just a thought. It was real. Alive. Breathing in the crib beside us. Every day, I put on a smile. Every day, I wear my pain. It feels like a pineapple sewn into my shirt. Rough. Sharp. Prickly. Every hug. Every step. Every breath hurts. But if I rip it off, I'll tear everything. So I keep it on. And I act like it's fine. I feed the baby. I change his diapers. I sing him lullabies that were once mine. He laughs. He cries. He calls me Dada. And each time he does, something inside me folds. Because I want to love him. I do. He's innocent. He didn't choose any of this. But I didn't either. And now, I'm stuck. Between truth and peace. Between fire and silence. I lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling. Thinking, should I tell her? Should I say, I saw the message? I know. And I can't have children. Should I leave? Should I stay? Should I ask her whose baby this really is? But every option feels like a storm. If I speak, I burn our house down. If I stay silent, I burn from the inside. What's worse? The fire outside? Or the one no one sees? People say, tell the truth. It will set you free. But sometimes, truth is a match. And my life is soaked in gasoline. So I wait. And wonder. And whisper to myself. This is the pineapple I wear. I couldn't keep pretending forever. Not when I flinched every time she said, our son. I started avoiding mirrors. Because I didn't like the man I saw. A father in name. A husband in pain. A ghost in his own home. One evening, I sat beside her. The baby was sleeping. I held her hand and said, "Can I tell you something hard?" She turned to me, worried. I took a breath. And spoke. I told her about the accident. About what the doctors said. About the night I saw the message. I told her I knew the baby wasn't mine. She cried. So did I. We sat in the silence that followed. A silence that wasn't angry. Just real. I didn't want to hurt you, she whispered. I know, I said. But I've been hurting anyway. We talked all night. About truth. About pain. About love. We didn't have answers. Not all of them. But we had the truth now. And sometimes, truth doesn't fix everything. But it lets the healing begin.